After 4 tournaments, the top 40 pros and top 40 co-anglers have qualified for the year-end championship. And it's been a whirlwind of a season. We saw John Hoyer do the impossible and win a Lake Erie tournament in the spring, casting. Then we saw a classic river tournament. Shallow water ruled the day, followed by an absolutely brutal grinder of a tournament on Green Bay. And then we saw Dewey get his mojo back and dominate on the Missouri River. All of that leads us to Lake Huron for the year-end championship.
Congratulations, still got it. To the National Walleye Tour Championship in 2024.
Like they say, nobody remembers second place, and that couldn't be any more true when it comes to championship.
Blaze trails for the team, and I still got it.
So like the championship, I mean, that's the Super Bowl.
It definitely is a unique tournament. It's the best one of the year and has the best trophy for sure.
Blaze trails for the team, and I still got it.
Although it's a great lake, Huron is not a traditional tournament venue. I've covered RCL, FLW, and now NWT tournaments for over 20 years, and I've never covered a walleye event on Lake Huron. I can vaguely remember a couple FLW Walleye League events held on Saginaw Bay, but this is technically not Saginaw Bay. If you want to get to Saginaw, you got to make a pretty big run south. There is not a single pro in this field that has any sort of local advantage or competitive edge. There's no knowledge about this fishery. It's completely wide open.
Obviously, I've never been here. Last year when we were fishing in Sault Ste. Marie, I ran down south a couple times and just kind of like sampled some areas up by Thunderberry, Alpena, just because I wasn't on anything up there. So like coming here, I didn't really have any history besides just knowing that it's a massive body of water. I knew that the slightest bit of wind was gonna create problems. Pretty calm out here, huh? And yeah, coming off the wind, obviously you're feeling good. Yeah, you had momentum. And like the fall is my favorite time to fish. Late summer, fall, like reaction baits. It's my favorite style of fishing, hands down.
Yeah, story of the week's been basically rough. Relaunch multiple times, a lot of miles. Kind of sucks actually. But we still got full day today. The wind's supposed to die down, and tomorrow we have a half a day. We have to be out the water at noon, which will honestly be a little nice, just for the fact that we've been getting up at about 5, getting home at about 9, eat dinner, go to bed at 11, repeat. These fish are just roaming around so dang much that it's so hard to figure out exactly what's going on.
It almost sounds disingenuous because I'm by no means an expert on Lake Huron. But this early in the fall, basically we're still in the late summer pattern. Water temperatures are warm. This is about the deepest you will ever find walleyes. My gut says the scopers are going to be targeting suspending fish. The only thing that gives me pause is what John Hoyer did 2 years ago on the eastern basin of Lake Erie when he found the winning pattern up shallow.
My task for the day, along with Dewey, is we were both going to take this like 5-mile stretch of shoreline and really kind of add it into our rotation we thought for the tournament. So it's 2 days before the tournament, and I started running all the stuff in like 30 to 35 feet of water. And I marked like 1 or 2 fish in the morning. Well, we had this offshore wind and the water temps were lower. And it was like, is that low enough to push them out? Like, are they on the bottom, frozen on the bottom? It's not quite that cold, but why aren't they up and active? Because they were biting really good. That was the one thing. Like if we could find them, we were literally catching one each cast. And so that huge offshore wind, and I was fishing through it. And I was just like, where would I go if it dropped 5 degrees in temperature?
I thought to myself I'd bundle up in blankets and lay in my bed. But deep water is stable And sure enough, there's a bunch of smelt on the bottom. So as I'm driving out here, I see that boat. He's out like 90 or 100. And yeah, literally my first drop with a spoon, the only thing I could get down fast enough, one just rocketed up and ate it, and then it spit up like 10 smelt. So yeah, I think Dewey's response to my text was, holy cow. Not the one I was marking. This one shot up off the bottom. Small lake trout. It's big. It's a big walleye. Jeez, dude. Hey, Logan. Not good. Those will be impossible to keep alive. We're catching them, but that's obviously not healthy. Nolan, you want to keep a walleye? That'd be sweet.
John's deep bite that he discovered, the problem is that these fish are positioned 80, 90 feet down, and when you catch a fish that deep, the odds of it surviving as you bring it all the way up are very slim, which means every fish you catch, you're going to incur a dead fish penalty. So then the slow process of adjusting occurs. There are some suspended fish around 35 to 40 feet.
I'm definitely not trying to pick them off bottom in rocks in 62 feet of water. That's not happening. Oh, I wish I had my jig wrap on. It's the high one. These go all over it. Would have caught him for sure on a glide bait. It's like, oh, I've caught one 3-pounder. Secret pattern, but the reality is I've marked like 20. This morning was a classic scenario. I didn't even make a cast for 2 hours. That's obviously stressful. I had thoughts as bad as like, whoops, I zeroed on day one. Went 120 miles and didn't even mark one. And yeah, that's kind of the reality of what's going on, at least for us. Watch, I'll call Dewey and I'll guarantee I catch one. I said I'm gonna call Dewey and I guarantee I catch one. I just dropped it on a giant one. No, it freaking spun around. Definitely some action in like 60 also. Yeah, like suspended ones. I'm just way out on this apron of those islands, or that island I started on yesterday. But there's a hunter nitty warning, a Will Pappenfist warning. I think he went south. Jacob L. There's one like crestliner trolling in 45 feet. Not a tournament boat, but I'm trying not to whip around on fish. I got multiples on my screen right now. Oh, I got him. Big one. Wow. Just short snaps above him. Oh, this is really big. Has it choked? It's a 27-incher. Holy cow. I'm gonna bring this one over the other side. Little short, hard snaps above them. 1 to 2 foot. I told you I'd catch one on the phone with Dewey. Hold, please. No eyeballs popped out either.
It's not going to be an easy pattern, but it's enough where John's got to call Dewey. He gets on the same pattern, finds some success. Same with Dusty. All three of them are finding a way to make this deep pattern work.
I haven't hardly marked a fish, couple, but not enough worth fishing on, so I think we're gonna turn and head north. See how it goes. I'll get closer to shore. Hopefully it's not too rough. Still rolling pretty good. I don't know, there's a little bait. Like 1 minute it looks like I'm gonna find some and it's just not good. I don't want to waste half my day just looking, so
Jake caught one already, so now I'm jealous. We gotta go.
In years past, the championship with only 40 boats has been held on smaller inland fisheries, and that's kind of where Bill was hoping we would go. He's not crazy about being on a vast, giant Lake Huron, but he's got to make the best of it.
Yeah, the place is just, it's huge. I mean, there's no, you can drive your boat. It's funny, they did put a boundary on it on each end, but that literally the boundary was like over 200 miles away on each side. So you can drive until you run your boat out of gas twice, and you know, you still won't be to the end. And which makes it tough, especially we had wind all week. Remember that first day of practice I got out there and I'm just like, there's big waves and I'm bobbing up and down, and I sent a Snapchat to my buddies. I'm going 12 miles an hour. And I got to go like 20 some miles, and I was crabby, to be honest. And actually one of my buddies wrote back right away. He said, just shut up and go catch some walleyes. And I'm like, yeah, you know what, you're right. Nope. Got the big old middle finger from that one.
Bill and his team have been everywhere. They've spent a lot of time north of Escada with limited success. It's not exactly working the way he wanted to. So he runs south.
Limited practice, you just want to go all night, all day. It's long days. We only got a half a day left, so thought I was going to go south, and then I thought I was going to go north, and now I think I should probably go south. So if that gives any idea how dialed in we are. So I don't know. Got a couple kind of shallow spots I want to check tomorrow morning that I found the other day that looked really nice and they're full of life. It was too windy to fish them, so I got them all mapped out now. Do that in the morning, and hopefully we strike gold, because I don't have a whole lot of good going on catching fish, but I don't see myself weighing 20 pounds.
Where's your head at? You seem very like, I mean, I guess you kind of just touched on it a little, but you seem like the wheels are spinning up there. Like you're trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, it's like you don't catch a lot of fish out here, and the fish are so spread out that when you do, you know, you think you're getting onto something and you're not. It's just random, and that's one of the hardest things of this whole setup. It's just that time of year where the fish are just spread out. You know, a lot of the big fish are out in that super deep water, just suspended over nothing, and they're impossible to target.
What's unique about the championship is for all but about 5 guys, the Angler of the Year race is over, and they could no longer care less about points. Everybody is trying to swing and win this championship.
You know, you're all in. It's all in to win. You know, you don't even, it's nice, you don't have to worry about points. A couple guys did. Obviously there's an Angler of the Year race, but that was pretty much hashed out by the time we got there, between about 3 guys, maybe 4 guys that had a chance at that. So the rest of us, you know, the other 35 of us or whatever it is, 37 of us, we didn't have to worry about that. And you basically, so, I mean, and that's in the back of your mind in practice too. You don't, you know, a lot of times we're trying to catch, you know, just fish to survive. And this time you were just looking for the biggest ones you could find. And, you know, like they say, nobody remembers second place, and that couldn't be any more true when it comes to championship time.
You've had kind of a good track record in championships.
Yep. I have had some success in championships, yeah.
When you're fishing a championship, everything is heightened. And you'll see a trend where there's only a few names that are rising to the top this time of year. And the name at the top that everyone has to be looking at is John Hoyer. He won the 2022 championship on the eastern basin of Lake Erie. He won last year's championship on Devils. He's looking to become the first person to ever go back to back to back at the championship.
I didn't feel any pressure like that, and honestly, I'm not saying I got complacent, but it's like, that would be bad for our sport, I think, if I won 3 in a row. You know, winning 2 in a row was crazy, and it really, like, mathematically should never happen, but You throw in Lake Huron and like literally how big this place is, and then where we found fish, like the search area was so huge that, yeah, we're really good at walleye fishing. I'm very confident in my ability, but it just like mathematically, it really wasn't there for me in my mind. I didn't have that feeling going into day one.
We're going out into the middle of Lake Huron tomorrow. Dewey found it. He's gonna go check it.
Yep.
I'm gonna fish near shore.
I'm gonna be on the water at 5 o'clock.
I have enough confidence in you two. I'm just gonna take the day off.
Nice.
All right, cool.
The Dusty, John, and Dewey camp sort of thinks they have discovered the secret. They've cracked the code. This is akin to other tournaments where John's won them doing things you're like, what? Little do they know, several other fishermen, including the Max Wilson camp, have discovered the exact same bite.
I thought the Sioux was big. It was like the biggest place we fished. This place is the biggest place we've been to. I mean, it just, I couldn't wrap my mind around it all week. It just was mind-boggling.
For the first time ever, there's an official practice period for the championship, meaning guys can't camp out at this venue a month ahead of time and explore everything. Instead, they kind of have to pick and choose what they want to explore, and it really levels the playing field.
See, I was just saving all my fish for the last day so I could have the camera guy with. So I've just purposely not been catching them. I'm a little different. Like, I don't really care about local information. Like, I never really have. I never really study a place before I get there. Has it hurt me sometimes? Probably. But most of the time, I just like to show up and, like, let the lake talk to me. Go down south and catch those. It was what, 2 pounds? Yeah, wow, that's so sweet. Yeah, I will not be looking forward to coming back to this place next year. Licked it again. Tell you what, dude, when these things decide they want to eat, they don't mess around. Now my mind's rolling. Flips for days, baby. I think honestly, high end of this bite is probably 17 pounds from what I've seen. What do you think high end is of what we did down there?
I mean, you could get into the 20s. Here, I don't see any evidence of getting into the 20s.
A lot would have to go right to get in the 20s down there. Yeah. Man, I was so confident coming into this tournament that it was just gonna, like, we were gonna be able to figure something out, and this was gonna fish just like Green Bay. And so I spent so much time on Upper Green Bay coming into this. And no, this fish is like nothing. This fish is like stupid. Let's just go in. I'm over this. I'm not fishing here, so.
We probably got, yeah, 15, 16, maybe. Could have been a little more.
And you had good ones.
Yeah, no junk fish or nothing. It was all good. I had like 21 pounds of fish.
Probably. Yeah. That's all my mind's been doing all week.
Oh, I know.
I was all set to go south. I was a half mile from you, and I saw fish, but it wasn't. I was an 80, and it was like.
Ooh, and I jacked my gain up, and I'm like, yeah, that didn't work. Jack it down a little bit. Okay, yeah, there is one there. And you'd start going really slow, and then all of a sudden it would just fan out. And you're like, oh yeah.
Right when I think I know what I was gonna go do.
That does make it tough.
Yeah, that makes it really tough.
As practice concludes, Max found a pretty productive southern bite where he thought he could make it happen, make it work. But he makes a decision that he's gonna run north and sort of be there as emotional support for Hunter, but also in case anything happens in terms of boat problems, Max could always bring Hunter's fish in for him. He decides he needs to be there for Hunter.
We had one goal as a team when we came out here, and that was to get Hunter AOI. And you know, once Hunter put the bag together that he did on that last day of practice and he decided he was going north, that's when I made up my mind, and I told him, I said, I'm riding with you. I don't care if I catch 2 pounds up there. I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna make sure you make it there and you make it back. Because like I said, my one goal, our one goal was to get him AOY. So wherever he went, I was going to make sure he got back in one piece.
Hang on. I probably should have stayed in bed today. I don't know if I'm getting sick or if I'm getting sick of the waves, I know that. But it was like, I got the crap beat out of me yesterday. We drove like 30 miles today, half day. Got the crap beat out of me today. And then when I got there, I couldn't tell if I was gonna puke or pass out or what was gonna happen, but yeah, just not a very productive day, really. Now this is like my favorite part of the whole day. We had to be off the water by noon today, which is a little bit different than usual. And rules meeting is at 5, so we're gonna get all of our prep work done before we go to the rules meeting. And then when we get home, we can go to bed by 8 o'clock and then get up tomorrow and hopefully catch a big bag.
Pretty simple. I'm taking a lot of rods out of this boat. I'm gonna have a glide bait, a heavy jig, and probably a max scent minnow like Kakawea, and maybe a plain hook jig just in case. Yeah, not many rods in the boat. Feels good. I'm gonna be light, limber, and really fast.
I'm always good at making a mess. It's been a weird week. Like, I've had some good days and I've had some bad days, but I just plan on making the good days during the tournament, I guess.
We don't know where you're going?
No.
Do you think you can catch 20 pounds at Charity Islands?
In 1.3 miles, turn right onto Old West.
Did you weigh one?
Yeah.
We're here. Atlas.
Appreciate everybody being here. Congratulations, making it here to the National Walleye Tour Championship here in 2024 in Oscoda, Michigan. Our reigning champ and our reigning angler of the year. Veronica Sauce, it looks like. Recognize Hunter, he's your current leader and angler of the year, so everybody's face for Hunter.
There's 4 chances to win a tournament in a year, but there's only one championship. And, you know, that, I can't describe what it's like to win one. You know, like when I won mine in 18, it was like, you're just like dumbfounded because there's only a handful of guys that have won those.
I was basically like confident, very confident I could go out because I mean we were smoking them when we were doing that, and I just feel like I was going to cover enough water, and when I landed on them, it was going to be game on.
I want to win every tournament that I go to. Was I playing it risky? Not at all, but we were definitely on a really solid pattern going into this tournament.
I knew where I was going. I was going south, so I knew that there was some nice fish in those weeds, and I went all in on it. You know, I was actually kind of at peace the night before the tournament. I knew I had a plan, and there was no question I was going to do nothing else but that.
Practice has officially ended, and it's been up and down, where there has been some fish caught, but it hasn't been great. And Lake Huron has delivered a mental and physical beating to these guys. Their boats are beat up, their backs are beat up, their brains are beat up. But yet tomorrow at takeoff, when the first boat number is called, they've got to be ready to be at their absolute best.